Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Seem to have gotten that worked out now. Okay, my apologies, a little bit of tech issues. Working through it. Okay, so last week we, like I said, we designed this cabin.
My apologies.
Yeah, I'm just working through my audio playback. Okay, last week we designed this cabin for Vinny and his friends at this camp, which I'm still trying to come up with the name of the camp. Still trying to figure that out. So there's some things I want to change about this that I'm not overly happy with. I'm not happy with like this weird kind of wooden structure back here. So I'm going to change that, and this is would fall under the revisions category of, like, say the director saw it and wanted to change some stuff about it. So we're going to change that. I want to put some kind of metal pipe, like big, huge, like almost like what they have on a ship, like a steamship, like you'd see, you know, guys sticking their heads out of on top of a big steamship. So the other thing I want to do is I want to change the size of the outhouse. I am not happy with that either. For some reason, the outhouse is like, up closer it would look like almost as big as the clubhouse, and we don't want that. I want it to be small and uncomfortable would be the right word. So we're gonna maybe change this top end a little. Yeah. And make it tall. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. All right, and then the other stuff I can just kind of move over a little. I've got two different layers selected here, so we'll fix the tight sketch a little bit. Oh, just got the little half moon. If anybody knows why there's a half moon on outhouses, let me know, because that's a cool little fact I'd love to find out. Just seems to be, I don't know if it was a creation for cartoons so you could recognize what it was, or maybe that's where they went at night to go to the bathroom. I don't know. But we're going to finish the rough sketch. I'm going to fix a few things, and then I'm going to port this over to Painter, which I haven't used on here before. I haven't used it in a while, and I was going to have my brushes picked out for me to use, and I'm thinking that would be doing you guys a disservice. I want you guys to see where the brushes are laid out, how everything's laid out in Painter, because it's a really cool program, and I want you to be able to see it just in case you ever want to try it. So, oop, wrong color. Hello. My hands are really confident tonight, so excited about that. I've been having a good day of drawing. I got the local colors laid into my next Monty, the Unfortunate Octopus painting, and excited about that. My goal is to get, I have a convention coming up. Hey, Sleeping Dumplings, how you doing tonight? I have a convention coming up at the end of April, early May, that's a Halloween-oriented convention. They're twice a year. It's called Spooky Empire. It's here in Orlando. And I'm trying to get 4 more of my McMorbidly family members done and my next Monty, the Unfortunate Octopus painting done, and get it all printed up and ready to sell. So I got some goals ahead of me. Yeah, let's do that. So again, apologies for those that caught the beginning of this video when I had some audio issues. I had a setting that was wrong. I'm still learning a few of the ins and outs of live streaming, so Thank you for your patience. I remember a couple weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, Greg Baldwin on Lost Bear Studios had a issue where he wasn't seeing his live stream, and we were all shouting at him. It's like, check your feed, check your feed. So, yeah, that's good. That's the kind of spindly kind of little look that I want. I'll put a little indentation there. I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as possible because I want to get you into the color section tonight for the most part, because this one's gonna, getting these done is going to take up a few weeks. And I want to get us there. Yes, I did. I made a new one. I have been playing around with textures, and Painter will let me do that, and I'll show you guys real quick tonight when I bring everything over how I did that. There's some preset paper textures that I use for that. I missed in Painter being able to use Apply Texture, which is a really cool tool. I enjoy it a lot. Put a little window right here. Some kind, maybe with slats in it as well. Kind of bent up slats. Yeah, it's kind of like alligator scales, which I thought was appropriate for a camp set in a swamp with gators and whatnot. Might be a little too much. I'm still playing. I'm still deciding what I want, but I figured I'd try it out tonight, experiment with it, see what's going on. Yeah, as I talked to another friend who watches this stream weekly, we were going over some stuff, and she's an old friend of mine, and we were talking on the phone, and she was talking about how the little footbridges tend to be really dangerous and death-defying, and it kind of goes well with everything. So I'm trying to play with that. Like, you really wouldn't want to be in the water underneath, because we said, you know, number one, there's gators down there. Number two, the pipe that the waste goes through is kind of leads down into the swamp too, so it's not like you really want to be in that, you know? You can tell when I'm having a good, confident, steady hand evening. I'm having one today. It's nice. So I did a thing this week too, just to give myself a little bit of encouragement, and following the advice of my wife. There was a character design position that became open at Netflix Animation that I applied for, only on the condition that it's work from remote, because I'm not moving to California. I'm just not going to do it. Too much of a mess in the world right now. I'm just not looking to change my location. So we'll see if I hear back. I don't know. It's for a new TV series they're making on the Roald Dahl books, Traveling the Chocolate Factory and all that. They're doing a bunch of new series based on his books, so it'd be cool to work on it, but if not, it's cool. You know, I'm not too worried about it. But just getting myself out there, you know, you always want to try and get contract jobs and whatnot. All right. Yes, that's much better. Like that outhouse looks... Getting out there at 2 in the morning if you gotta go, yeah, it's dangerous. So, all right. Now let's fiddle with this little area that I changed over real quick. I want to put in a metal pipe that looks like it, you know, would belong on a ship. Because it's, you know, it's South Florida. Maybe it washed up in the swamp somewhere and they attached it. Pardon me if you hear my dog in the background. He's misbehaving a little. There's one in here with me. We have 2 beagles. There's one in here with me, and the other one's out in the living room barking his head off. So if you hear him in the background, I apologize. Dogs are dogs, and I love him. He's a sweetheart. He's just loud. Yeah, that's better. I didn't like all the wood. Like, it was too much. It was just too much. Throw in a little bit of that Where'd it go? This tool. There we go. That tool. Just to give myself a little bit of shade reference, I like doing that just to help out down the road. All right. Yeah, that's much better. I like that a lot better. Okay. Let's get back up to the top layer. Oh, I almost had it. Dadgummit. There we go. I could use the concentric circle tool, but I want it to look a little more organic than that. I don't want it to look too perfect. So, hope you guys have been having a good week. Let me know how your week's been going. I like hearing about that stuff. I know some people are still getting slammed with cold and other people aren't. Florida has been spared most of that. Zoning. Oops. I always click that button coming out of that. This is assumed perspective. I'm not looking to get perfect perspective here. I could put a grid up if I wanted to do that, but like I said, I want it to be, I want it to look right, but I don't have to worry about it being right. There we go. And please let me know in the comments if something weird happens with my audio, if it cuts out or something. I just want to make sure that doesn't happen again. That was weird. All right. I want this whole building back here to be pretty much all corrugated metal. I like having metal because what that does for the show is it gives me an opportunity to show rust, and it's South Florida, everything rusts. And as far as colors go, it is South Florida, so I'm going to be using like old looking bright colors, like colors that look old but aren't. Like it's just because they've been set out. They've been sitting out in the sun too long. A little bit more perspective there. Oop. Yeah, let's put some wood up here like it's on the corrugation is hung on a frame or something. Giving the legs a little less stability by making them slightly odd angled and making them thin. I'm not spending too much time on these background buildings because that's just what they are. They're background buildings. I want them to be ever so slightly abstract. Maybe these are saloon doors on this one. That's kind of fun. Also leaves open the idea that maybe a gator could get in. Like, I just don't want the camp to feel too safe. That's the thing. That's also what makes it cool. Because I remember being at camp. I had a camp that I went to a couple times as a kid. And, you know, part of what felt really cool about some things is just stuff you wouldn't get away with at home that was just unsafe, but it was fun to do anyway. Every once in a while somebody would get injured, but, you know, for the most part, we did all right. care of this one little building back here, and then I'll throw in some more groundwork, but then I'll port it over to Painter. Oh, that's awesome though that you're taking courses and being able to do projects on the side. Hey, keep it up. That's awesome. But I totally am with you. There's so much I want to do and there's so little time to do it. I'm with you. But I'm really glad you're hanging in there and you're doing new stuff. That's fantastic. I love it. Courses are awesome, and there's a ton of artists that are both, offering them and recommending other places. And I'm gonna make this slightly odd, like some kind of weird metal thing up here. But no, I like hearing that. That's awesome. Keep it up. I got a little bit of encouragement from Greg on his live stream to try ZBrush, because I've been wanting to try ZBrush forever, but I did look up how expensive it is, and it's pricey because it's a monthly subscription. But for $900, like a monthly subscription, you're going to be spending a lot more than you need. But if you do a $900 deal with them, you get it for life, free upgrades, free everything. Not free, but after a while, it's paid for, and it's like having it for free. So I think if I do it, I'm going to do that. It's just the smartest way to go, because I want to give myself the time to really have fun with it, and to really do that, you got to give it real time. Yeah, I definitely want this to feel like some kind of like this is where the cabin where they send kids that have misbehaved or been bad. Yeah, ZBrush should be a great way. I've got fantastic ideas for characters in 3D. I just don't want to pay somebody else to do it. I'd rather do it myself, and but like I said, time in the day to do it, and just got to make time for it. Because nothing worth doing is ever easy, and it always requires sacrifice, either time or doing something else. But I think it would be really good. I think it would be beneficial for a lot of reasons, just to help me understand my own forms better, because I went to art college, I did the whole thing, but you can always learn. Art college, the best way I heard it described to me, I went to an expensive one. I was fortunate. A lot of people aren't, and that's not good or bad or the other. It's just my circumstance. But one thing I heard there is that art college doesn't teach you how to be a good artist. It teaches you how to learn to be a good artist, because you're going to be learning for the rest of your life. And it teaches you to have the skills necessary to keep learning. That's what art college does. And that's the most important thing, is to keep learning and keep knowing how to learn. Skill comes on its own. You build it. Talent without training is cute, but I know people that have very little talent but have been trained a lot that do a much better job in a project than people who have a lot of talent have not allowed themselves to be trained really well. And you need to have a curious mind, as to how things work and why they work and how to make them work better, and and I love that you're taking courses. That makes me excited for you. That's awesome. The stuff you're going to learn, the stuff that you're into, that's fantastic. So what kind of courses are they? What kind of courses exactly are you taking? Just out of curiosity's sake, if you want to talk about it. If you don't, it's cool. Not trying to push. And I'm going to change the sign here. I had a better idea for this. I had an idea for a like an interstate sign that's been stolen off the road. I have one hanging on the wall behind me that's a Disney like fun one for I-4. That's the highway that it's on down here. And just kind of looking for reference. I have it hanging on the wall right behind me. There we go. Redbubble's okay. It depends on what you want to make. I'm trying other places for shirts like Teespring. That's my place I'm trying as an alternative. Redbubble's production was fine. Their shipping was the problem for me. I had some custom masks made, and they got lost in the mail. They gave me another set for free, and then magically the other set showed up, and one of those things. And that's happened a couple of times. Their quality's good. Like, I buy their t-shirts. I bought my t-shirts for the shows with my show names on them and things like that. You could start there. It's not a bad place to start. But keep a broad view on other competitors out there to them, specifically with t-shirts and stuff. Redbubble has a bigger variety of other things you can put stuff on. But be prepared to market the living crap out of that shop to get people to go to it. They've always been good about paying me whenever I get above, because they pay you with a check. They don't do direct deposit. They pay you when your sales get above a certain amount. Oh, wow, that's cool. Car design. Oh, that's awesome. You're getting into perspective and isometric drawing, and oh, wow, that's really cool. Congratulations on that. I hope you learn a lot of really great stuff, because car design courses, man, the concept artwork that goes into that stuff is awesome. The other one was architecture. Wow, you're getting into the heavy stuff. Whew. Nice. I love it. There we go. I can position that better. Probably should have. I was trying. I get myopic, and I draw strange. One little trick. I have a Mac and I'm using a Mac, but one little trick if you're using a Mac, if you're in Clip Studio, to do one of those free transform things where you can move the corners around wherever you want, is to hold down the Command key. And while you have the scale edit box open. I still don't like it. I tried fiddling with it and it didn't work. Okay. That 3 is killing me. Those curves. I don't want to just type in text. It's a cheap way out of designing something cool. I want it to look hand-drawn though, so I'm not too worried about it. Maybe they also stole the little post that holds it into the ground. You know, those metal posts with the holes in them so they can put bolts through to hold a metal sign up that are usually green. Yeah, there we go. That's taken. That's still, that back cabin's still in a funky spot, so we're gonna fix that real quick. I like it, but I'm gonna play with it just a little. Make it really way back there. There we go. That's much better, and also gives the sign room to breathe. Gives me a little bit more room to play with some things. I'll put some Just some foliage kind of in the foreground here. We'll play with different ways possibly to do the kind of hazy eye line in the background, just the horizon line. Like I said, I'm not trying to make a hard line. Like I said, I want it to be a little hazy, and I'm just kind of giving myself an indication. Yeah, I heard Blender was free. I've heard really good things about Blender actually, but I think it's for PC only, or did you have it on a Mac? Because for Mac, I might download it for free, but I heard it's only for PC. Okay, I think we're in a pretty good spot to pull it over to Painter. Yeah, okay. So the way you pull this into Painter, use a Photoshop file, a PSD file. It's like the universal layered file type that everybody uses. That's one thing Photoshop's got on everybody. They set the standard for layered file type. So relabel the session 10 because that's what we're in now. Save it as a clip file, as the native file type, and then also as a PSD file. It's a Photoshop document right here. Boom. Okay. Close down that, quit out of clip, and then I will open up Painter. This is going to look somewhat similar and a lot different at the same time. Yep. There's going to be little things happening here and there, but it takes up the whole screen. It doesn't give you a window. It literally takes up advanced to screen, and it takes up the whole screen. So I don't have to worry about setting the boundaries to something. All right, let me open up the file. Where'd it go? There it is. PSD file. Boom. I don't know what the unsupported layers or effects are all about, because everything seems to be good. All right. Okay. There it is. Yeah, it's a little different the way the menus work, so I'm having to play. Okay, so PC. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. I'll keep looking. You never know. So I'm going to give you a little example of what that texture does. Like you can see it really close up here, that kind of canvas texture. So how I did that, all these right here are paper textures right here that I'm circling. That's what you can paint on. But there's also this thing you can do, and I'll do it to the logo so you can see it better, called Apply Surface Texture. And I used it here recently. So it's under Surface Control. So apply surface texture, and then you select which paper texture you want. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff, and you can even create your own paper textures. I just go off of what they have. Let me see if I can find something that's really wacko. Whack-de-doodle. All right. Now if you see, you can see kind of a little bubbling on that. And I'll undo it so you can see it again. There we go. It's over here. And you change it just like augmented layers on Photoshop with like layer effects. You can do it works, the sliders and stuff work the same way. I'm trying to pick one that you can see easily. Yes? No? Oh. Got me away from the layer. Dang it. Okay, there we go. Again. Of course, now it doesn't want to work. All right. Forgot he was even there. There we go. Okay. Nope. There we go. Okay, for some reason there was some weird thing going on here. All right. Like you can see it, and I can change the amount on it, and you can play with it more and more. You can see what it does. But that's how I did it. I just wanted to give you a quick show. You can change the light direction. Make it more even, things like that. It's kind of cool. So we'll cancel out that. All right. Now, bear with me on this because it's been a little while for me in this program, but we're going to go underneath the top lines. Give itself a new layer. And here is where the fun really begins. We're going to... All right. All the tools are right here. And I am not even joking. All these tools are different tools you can use. And within these, there's a whole myriad of tools over here that you can use. Like all kinds of crazy stuff. And how it mixes. I won't get into... There's digital watercolor, real watercolors, all kinds of cool stuff. But I'm looking for something just very... We'll try the simple one. And like I said, I would have picked all this stuff out earlier, but I wanted to give you guys a chance to see what this program looks like. So yeah, we're going to go. And these are the color harmonies. So you've got, analogous, complementary, split complementary, tetratic, monochromatic, and monochromatic dark. Like all these different ways it shows you the color wheel and how it blends color in the color wheel. And for those that are into color theory, that's a really cool thing. I'm a little bit into it. It's an area I struggled with in school. So it's nice to have that at my fingertips. But I am looking for a good, let's try that. A good muted blue. About to paint on a brush requires a gel layer. Guys, switch layer to composite. There we go. It'll switch it for me. The kind of layer I need to paint. Yes, so this is layering on itself. This is kind of a watercolor brush that layers on itself, and that's kind of what I want. And it moves the paint around for me. And it's a lot of it is dependent on how I paint, but it feels more organic than other programs. And this program does require a large amount of memory. I'm not going to joke with you. It requires quite a bit of memory. And it does require you to do things on layers that you have to think about. Like certain layers work certain ways with certain paint, and you have to sometimes dry the layer just like you're on real paper. Make that just a little darker. And you see here, dry digital watercolor. Boom. There it is. Now it's dry, and I can paint over it, and I can do it without affecting what I just painted. So I'm only affecting the color I'm laying down right now. It is a cool yet very complicated program. Probably a way that I've heard people describe ZBrush. Yes. Okay. And working within the same color family. So in complementary basically, for those that don't know, is opposite colors. So over here, You've got the color that I've got, and you've got on the opposite end the exact color. All the ones in between, mixing complementary colors right in the middle is how you get a perfect gray color. Like so, for instance, basic primary colors, green and red are complementary on the color wheel. But if you mix the right shade of green with the right shade of red, you get absolute perfect gray. And that's what this is showing right in the middle. So you can keep things within the same color family. And it grayed everything out right, boom, right there. So that's kind of what I wanted. That's okay. And I'm going to work on the same layer. A lot of times I'd be changing layers up for this kind of paint work, and I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to push the paint around. And then we're going to create a little bit of a brighter orange for like rust, just to show a little bit of rust. You know what? Let me dry the watercolor again. Or create a, I might create another layer on top. Let's see, where's the create gel layer? Watercolor, there it is. Let me get my stupid menu bar back over here. It does that sometimes. All right. Yes, gel. Thank you. Okay. Out of a brush. I made the wrong kind of layer. Okay. I delete the layer. Create a new layer. Change it to gel manually. There we go. Okay. There it is. I'm just kind of putting a leading edge of rust here and there. And I'm not really painting rust, I'm painting an indication of rust. It's important to understand the difference. It's not... This kind of painting, it's quick. It's really, really quick, and you have to... Like, this is what real concept work looks like. It's very quick, just to get the idea down as accurate as you can be. And there's probably other brushes I could use for this, but I kind of like the way watercolor flows sometimes. It was the first... Watercolor is the first paint that I learned how to use properly. Okay, so... Alright, we're gonna... I threw a little bit of rust there. Let's throw some here. Just a little bit here. I want it to be a little gross. A little bit gross. Not... I'm throwing somewhat of an indicator of highlight to like the side with this side of the window is going to be darker than the front, of course. But even though the light's behind it, I still want to show light more on the right side, just a little bit. It's a little bit of artistic license I'm taking, even though it's not straight up rules. And this is going to be a 2-sessioner for this kind of stuff because I'm going to get the buildings done, then I got to worry about the background. Okay. Let's see, where do I want to go with this? Got kind of a blue. And I'm also using this kind of blue and then orange, which are also complements. So I want to play with that. I want to play with your eyes a little bit. Okay, let's go with go back down to this layer and throw, it's too bright. Okay, let's go neutralize that a little bit. A little too bright. That's better, okay. I want to give it a little bit of a barn feel. I'm not worried about painting through some of the lines either. I wanted it to have a little bit of a wash look, so I'm not being absolutely perfect. It's okay. Perfection isn't what I want. I want impressionist. I want an impression of color. I can make a more solid layer on top too and paint things more solidly with like an acrylic brush or something like that for like the rags hanging out and stuff. I'm not worried about the stuff hanging out there. All right, let me dry that again. I gotta learn the quick use of this program. Put a little bit of a shadow under here. I'm using the same color, just layering it on top of itself to create the dark. I'm not changing the color. Letting it kind of pool and look a little junky. And now this is wood, so there's not going to be rust so much as there's going to be areas of gray where the wood's kind of worn away and it's old. Okay, so I'm not going to go with a lighter version of this as much as I am going to go with a warmer version of this on the facing side that's a little bit more in highlight. So the color I have is right here in the middle on the analogous colors, so I'm going to go all the way over here to this shade. And it's in the same color family of the analogous colors, like it still goes together, but I'm going to give it, it's a little more orange because when red gets hit by sunlight, it turns warmer. That's what sunlight does. It's if you want to know a little trick about painting, if you want things to look like they're coming at you from a distance, or receding from you, when you want things to look like they're coming at you, the color gets warmer because your eye perceives warm color as closer. As things get further away, they're cooler, and they give you an idea of distance and size, or distance and depth and things like that. So you can play with color theory and play with how warm and cold colors work together. I'm certainly no master at it. I just know some of the basics that was taught to me. Let me go underneath that too and create a new layer underneath that is more of this color, just under a broad sense, and I'm going to dry that again because you have to dry it every time you put new paint down. Oh, I don't need to. Okay, good deal. Oh, wrong layer, that's what. Okay, there we go. Okay. I'm going underneath and I'm just adding a little bit more familiarity to that color. It started to go a little bit too much, and I want some of that over on the right to be here. I just don't want it as dark a red. I want splashes of it. You know, if you put with this tool, if you put a line down that's too much, when you go over the line, it lightens the line because you're pushing the color around. It's not just adding; it's also maneuvering the color. Get some of the space in between the boards there, and I'll do the same thing over here. Only I'll do a deeper version of that red, just a tiny deeper. And also too, it's in shadow, so it's going to be cooler because shadows look cooler. That's the other thing you can do with color. Not only does it push things into the distance, temperature also can help you with. If you've got a warm highlight, you're going to have a cool shadow. It's the way color refraction works. I'm not a scientist. I couldn't give you the ins and the outs and the whys. And I wish I had 3 hours to sit and get this all done. We'll get, I'm going to try and get one building done and keep it at that. Try to get it as done as possible and then work on the other ones maybe on next night. Push these around a little bit. I want that color to pool right up in the corner because that's where the it's funny with sharp objects. You've got this, if you've got like a square and the light is really strong on one side, it makes the edge super distinct between the highlight and the shadow. So I really want the deep to pool here because there's more contrast between the edge where the light, if there's an edge where the highlight is hitting strongly and the shadow is very starkly pointed the other direction, there is an edge there that is very contrasty. And that's why I'm pushing the dark over here. Because when something casts a shadow, the further it gets away from the surface it's casting a shadow on, the lighter the shadow gets and the more diffused it gets and the less edges you can see. For those that are a little bit younger and are understanding how to use color and light and shade better, I'm just kind of throwing some of those facts out there for you. All right. And I want this to be kind of a loose watercolory kind of a thing too. And since I'm going to go underneath, a little too purpley, let's go dark here. I'm going to really go super dark under here because I really want that to... I don't want that to get in the way of anything. I don't want a lot of detail there. I know I put wood under there, but I'm not going to do a lot of detail on it. because I don't want it to distract from this wonderful character of a house I've created or a cabin I've created. I don't want it to be too distracting. But I want it to literally look like a house that you'd see. I'll throw a little bit of the dark here, just a little here and there. I want it to be a kind of building that you'd see on the side of a road in, you know, South Florida. And that's really what you'd see, these kind of shacks and things like that are decades and decades old. And, you know, maybe they've been hit with a bunch of hurricanes and... Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to drop these down together. Yep. Okay, that did something weird. Let me see if I can combine. Let me, oh, you know what, let me. Okay. Let me see if that helps. Nope. Sometimes this does some weird things. Preserve transparency. Nope. It's just the oddest thing sometimes. Let me see if changing this to gel helps. There it is. Okay, I just got to remember to keep it on gel. It will keep that when I flatten it all. It's been a while. It's a really great program to use. It's just you got to get used to how the layers work together. Notice too when I'm adding color that it's creating a certain transparency over this background texture that I've laid down. That's on purpose. Okay, so let's do a... Notice I'm keeping it all too, and it's a colorful, but it's a warm colorful, because if I use cool versions of colors, it will take away from the sweltering heat that I'm trying to project on everything. I'm keeping all this in mind as far as how the colors work together, because if I do this and then I throw a purple out here that looks like it's lit in a cool way, it won't work with the other colors. So this all has to, at some point, get intuitive, you know, in my mind. Okay. You know what? We're going to drop that down too, and then I'm going to turn it to a gel layer again. All right, there we go. All right. So let me create a new one underneath, change that to gel, and then we'll just keep going. Let me try, okay, that's simple watercolor. Let me try Bristle Pure. I want to see what it does different. Huh. Apparently not much. Go back up to that. All right, what's going on? What is... Get rid of that layer then. What did I do? Ah, there we go. Okay. There it is. I had the transparency locked. It was set to just paint where the color was below it. It's layer masking, and I forgot that I had that set. So, big oops. Sorry about that. It's funny in different art programs, the symbols, that all the tools are kind of in the same areas, but the symbols are completely different. Yeah, okay. That's what I'm looking for. Let's throw a little bit right there. Nope, too dark. Also, got into the purple range. I don't know how that happened. It's okay because it's on top of the yellow, but I didn't mean to do that. There we go. That's what I'm looking for right there. All right. Yeah, now we're cooking. Let me get up here into the little bit of a highlight kind of a thing going on. Now this is going to be different. I've done the local color, which is the base color without any light and shadow, and I've done shadow work. I need to add another layer on that I can do some highlight, and I'm going to have to use a different tool for that. So let's go to acrylics. Let's go to glazing. Get that nice and small. Also, let's get rid of the underlying shade layer, that kind of blocking layer. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, that's not going to work because that's glazing goes on differently. Let's try this. Okay, that'll work. I don't like the brush tip on that, but it'll work for what I want. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I'm just throwing a little bit of color down into the highlight just a little bit. This is a warmer blue. So I'm giving myself that contrast like I set up at the top, where the light and the shadow meet. And I should be going over the whole image with the color and doing the whole thing kind of moving around. And I'm doing this for your benefit so you can see, if I have to work on a little bit of this, not in the live stream, you can see what I'm doing and how I got there in the future. If I have a few things that pop up next time that you're like, oh, I didn't see him do that. You know, did I miss something? I don't want him to do that. I don't want you to be lost. Because the whole reason I'm doing this is so you can see how I work, and it's important that you can see it. Yep. Okay, so I've got an acrylic layer there, and that's cool. So that gives me a highlight layer to work on a little bit. So I'm going to go back to my watercolor. Yep. And this little button right here changes to the last brush used. Just keeps going back, so you can fiddle around with the presets on that. There's a lot of different things you can do there. So, okay, you got to be a little bit patient with some of these brushes to get them to work right. Okay, that was a little too small. There we go. And I will come in and just noodle something a little bit and then fix it later and noodle something a little bit more. It's just kind of my process. It's how I work. A bit deeper red there. Go right here. I do like the way that you can lay the color down and then work back into it and lighten it. It's almost like a blender, but not quite. But it is a lot of fun, I promise you. Yeah, I'm telling you, it messes with your mind. Like, you know, I'll start hitting buttons and get some weird reaction because I've hit the wrong shortcut. You know, it drives me crazy. All right, we're going to add some more dark down here. It's not dark enough for me yet. I really want it to be super dark underneath. I want that contrast there. I don't need it to be too perfect. I'm not worried about that. And I'm going to throw lines on here because I want to show kind of a little bit of the wood grain. And I don't know if I'm going to go back in and weather these too much. They look pretty weathered as they are. I'm not too worried about it. Don't worry, I'm going to get to that sad face painted on there. I got to do it in a more opaque layer above all this. But yeah, I've got to add some. I do need to mess with the shadow underneath this rag. I don't want it to be too stark because the sun's not shining directly on this side, but there needs to be some kind of indicated shade under there. So when I paint on top of it, I've got somewhere to go with it. There's a roughness that I like to paint too on some of these things. I like to show my scribble lines and stuff as I paint, and adds to my style. A lot of people think that my McMorbidly portraits are really super detailed, and they are, and they're so perfect, and some of it is, but there's also a lot of scribbly in there that they don't even notice right away, you know? Okay, so, yeah, okay. Let me go to the opaque layer. Even though there's highlight on it, there's also going to be, I am going to put some wood grain up here, so I'm going to go to probably a pencil tool. Where's my colored pencils? Pencils. Pens and pencils. There we go. Okay. Croquill pen, no. Variable tip pen, hard pencil, drafting pencil, 2B. Standard 2B. That's all I need. And it does work with the tilt of your hand. So I got to get it really small. Or just kind of... And it's still, man. Nope, it's not what I want. Not the right tool. Okay. Probably a tech pencil if I've got one in here. Scratchboard tool? Oh, that'll work. Okay, it's a little bit bigger. Yeah, scratchboard, if you don't know what it is, that's a board that's all black, and you scratch the white out of it. Mark Summer is an artist that I used to love his work in college. He worked almost all on scratchboard, and it was all black and white. And if you ever went into Barnes and Noble and there were these beautiful illustrations of authors hanging everywhere, and they were done in these kind of horizontal white and black lines, that was done by Mark Summer. Brilliant artist. Saw things in negative that I'll never figure that one out. Put a little knot right there. I'm just indicating wood lines. There we go. That's better. That's just a little bit. I don't want to overdo it. Okay, let's go to the... Yeah, there we go. Okay. You got to be careful and let your lines get dark and light with the shade of the wood. So where the wood's light, the lines need to be light too, because everything's lighter in that area. That's the trick to doing shade over texture. Like, seriously, go back and look at my McMorbidleys. Look at how I do shade and texture on their clothing, things like that. With a pattern on clothing, it's darker where the shadow is and lighter where it's not. And you got to keep that in mind as you're painting texture and, you know, pattern types, plaid, corduroy, which I love doing that kind of stuff, but you have to be aware of what's going on with that. Okay, let's add a little bit of highlight. You know what? Let me use a color picker. There it is. I had to look for the color pick. Ah, there we go. Okay. So let's go lighter than that. Right here, a little bit more yellow. And for this, I'm going to use same thing. I'll go back up to the acrylics and use the opaque detail brush. Yeah, detail brush. I mean, they literally call these things what they are, and it's super easy to, you know, super easy to find what you're looking for with like, and I don't use every tool up there. I don't. There's just too much. Yeah, scratchboards are great. I used to want to be a scratchboard artist, and then, you know, black and white art is a... If you think it's hard to get a specific job in a specific profession with art, try doing it as a black and white artist. Man, there are people who can do it in fine art and sell portraits done in graphite and ballpoint pen, and some of those I've seen lately are just gorgeous work, but you really got to hustle it to make a living doing black and white work. That has to be your chosen vocation, and that's what you become known for. And the moment you go to color, you got to reinvent yourself, and it's hard. All right, beautiful. Okay, now we're going to go to this side, and I'm not going to do a lot. It's not bright enough. I'm not going to do a whole lot because this is still the shadow, but I am going to put it down here at the bottom to separate it just a little bit from the wood underneath. Appreciate you guys hanging with me while I'm remembering this program. Okay. All right. Let me work a bit on this drain pipe thing. Yeah. I gotta be careful when I'm using color picker because it's picking up not the color that I was painting with, but the color that the color is on the canvas mixed with the background, because this is translucent. So I have to be very careful and be aware of that. Go back to watercolor. I do like it though, that kind of grayish green works well, because that's the dull color I'm looking for. It works. But like I said, you have to get used to how these tools interact with each other and how it feels going across the canvas, because it is very different in Painter if you choose to paint with this at any time. It's fun. It is a blast to paint with. It's easily the most realistic feeling art program out there. We're going to keep this real simple. I think I'm going to make that door like a bright yellow, because I'm thinking about buildings also too that I see down in Key West that are all like, the buildings in Key West are super bright, super duper bright, and here's where the scribbly comes in. I can get away with it here, just a little scribble here, a little scribble there, just like that. Let me blow it up for you. I just didn't realize how small it was. Sorry about that. I forget. I get into what I'm doing and I forget to get closer so you can see what I'm doing. So if that happens, let me know and I'll zoom in while I'm painting. So my apologies. I don't want you guys to have to squint at the screen. It's not cool of me. It's not fair because you can't see it like I can see it. Alright, and I'm going to take a little bit of the color underneath and blend it up in, because it's even though it's not reflective, it is a little. It's a little bit reflective up there, and I want it to, you know, I want to show you that it is kind of, even though it's not a direct like chrome, it does reflect the shade of the color just on the sides and such. That's another part of color theory. One of the things I always had to do in art college, and my friends that are on here that went to art college can attest, painting an egg that's white on white and then having to, you know, explain where the colors are coming from and why, and oh god, it's fun. All right, so I think we said this thing right here is going to be a road sign, so that they pulled off. Like same thing with a highway sign out here. I didn't realize I was keeping in with that. I got about a half hour left. Yeah, this is going to be a multi-week thing. I had no idea how long it was going to take me or not, but it's fun and I like it. So yeah, throw the watercolor on here. It's a little bit brighter green, but that's okay because you still have to represent the object that you're painting. Like this is definitely a highway sign, and it's surrounded by it's surrounded by white, but it's still got a little bit of that green in it. So we're going to go up to, yeah, we're going to go up to that top layer where the highlights are. Go back to the acrylic. And, you know, because these things are built to be reflective. Even when they've been weathered and sitting out, the whites can still be seen from quite a bit away. Okay, now I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to take away this... okay, where's the eraser? Thank you. I forgot. Sometimes I have to reset that into the pencil so it knows that it's the eraser. Nope. Okay, this is... There we go. Some of the tools aren't working the way that I'm remembering them working, so... And my dog's stretching. He's cute. Alright. I had that working earlier today, but apparently don't want to do it right now, so... Ah, right too big. Alright, let's do this small. Doesn't have to be perfect because it is a cartoon. That works. Okay. Ah, that's what it was. That's the return. Yeah, I kept hitting the return button and resetting it. That's what I said. I'm getting used to the way the buttons work. So, apologies. Okay. Let me get a little bit of a deeper color there. There we go. Like I said, I want to get the... I don't mind showing my scribble lines. I like the scribble lines. Scribble lines are my friend. Okay. Yeah, that's going good. I like it. Yeah, I can... It's very easy. Because they're on separate layers, all I have to do is just actually blank the layer and then select. And there you go. Like, look at how colorful this is without the yellow. Like, it's... In some ways, I kind of like it. And what I can do, too, is paint white underneath this. You know, like, use this as a mask and paint around it, like kind of like what Greg Baldwin does. It does look really, you know, it is, you can really see the colors that I'm seeing over on the right, but I also know how they're going to mix in front of the yellow. But they're not muted enough. Like, I wanted something super muted. But yes, I can pick. If I turn off that layer, I can pick use the color picker and pick. But you know, we'll play a little bit. Let's try something here. Let's let me move this layer up. That's the title layer that's up there in the upper corner. Let me try something here. Let me create a new layer, and we're going to do a little experiment. Let's try a gel wash, see if that works the way I want it to. Yeah, see? Now I'm painting white, but I'm going underneath this color layer. You know, it brings the color up just a hair, and that actually works for me. I don't want it so mixed with the background color it's not standing out. But so this actually works really well, and I can use it just where I want it to. Like, if there's some areas that I want to be muted, I can use it, and if there's other areas that aren't, I don't have to. In fact, one thing I can do too is to take this and bring the opacity down just a little bit. Wrong one. There we go. That way I can see where I'm painting. I'll bring that back up again in a sec. Like, I don't really need to paint underneath the shadow, but now that I've seen that other one, I kind of like the idea of letting some of this... It's kind of a cool little style to get rid of some of it. Like, you can still see the texture and stuff, but you're getting more pure color, and it's not overly bright. Like I said, I didn't want it to be I didn't want it to be muted. Or I wanted it to be muted. I'm sorry, I didn't want it to be, but I didn't want to take away the muted quality of it. Yeah, now it's a little more colorful. Yeah, I'm liking that. I'm liking it a lot. Yeah, I'll do that. Cool. Okay. And then we'll take, I'm also going to take and paint that pipe behind everything. Don't want to get too cool. Right about there. Okay, let's see what this does. Let me get back to my watercolor. Now, there is digital watercolor and regular watercolor, and that's a whole other animal. We're not going to mess with regular watercolor this time. That behaves like real watercolor in canvas. It spreads and it blends in other colors, and you really have to be brush sensitive with how that works. Digital, you can work with a little bit better. Like, you can kind of keep going over it and blend it and blend it and blend it if you don't like the way some of the edges are. But I like how it gives you these little random you know, shades here and there. But you can erase this with a regular eraser. With regular watercolor, you can't. Okay, let's go good. So I hope that answered your question. Yes, there is a way to do that. I'm emphasizing the lines that I've drawn with paint. Like I've kind of sort of drawn the lines, but I wanted to really show them off with paint. And I'm bearing down fairly hard right now because that's the way this tool works. It's really dependent on pen pressure. And you can set that however you want. And now we're really going to have fun with that. Let's do this. All right, let's combine those two layers. I don't want to get too far away from. Create too many layers of the same watercolor. There we go. Okay. Nice. Let's get back up to that highlight. Okay. There's going to be a little bit of yellow still in this highlight because I'm kind of showing a yellow sun, if you will, and that's part of the color of everything. It kind of blends in, plays with itself. Why is it doing that? That's something I'm still trying to figure out. There we go. I just had to figure out how to do it. Works better with my mouse than it does with my pen. There's a crazy, weird way of... What am I missing? Ah, it's that gel wash again. It's not what I want. There we go. Okay, that's what I wanted. Yeah, when I'm switching back and forth between tools, there's so many tools in this, literally, it's easy to lose track of where you're at. So, all right. I really like the work of Ivan Earl, the background painter in Sleeping Beauty. His work is just absolutely amazing. He's a wonderful abstract painter, and he's got a lot of like classical influence. It's very cubist. It's very, you know, it's got a lot of stuff on it. I really love his work, and I'm not trying to emulate that, but there's a certain basic quality to his work where he just throws a line down. He doesn't care what happens to it. He just lets it be what it is, that I respect. I'm more anal than that. I can't help it. I can't help but be more anal than that. Throw a few. There we go. Yeah, it's going to be a cool painting when it's done. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Let's drop that. Oop. Drop that down, create a gel again. That way everything is continually on one. Okay. Let me try a little experiment. I'm going to undo this when I do it. You're going to freak out if I tell you what I'm about to do. I want to try something. I want to see. Yep, that's what I thought. If I collapse the whole thing together, I keep that look. That's what I wanted to make sure I could do. Some of the layers work differently in this program, so I wanted to... It's a good way to test. His style was very blocky, and the way he did the trees with those blocks of leaves and stuff, it's great. There's a... I don't know if you ever saw it, but there was a special that Disney did years and years ago, and they replayed it on the Disney Channel when I was a kid a lot. Just I think it was just called 4 Artists Paint Trees or 4 something like that. It's on the extras on one of the DVDs. But Ivan Earl and 3 of the other background artists and character artists went out and painted the same tree, but they did it in their own style, and it jumps around from artist to artist and shows you what's going through their head while they're painting it. And Ivan Earl, man, his stuff was wild, like these crazy 90-degree branches and stuff, and you could tell it was the same tree, but it was all different styles. If you can, I'll look it up and see what the name of it is, and in the next video I'll give you the name of it. I can't remember. If you find it first, great, but I highly, highly recommend it. It was amazing. Digital watercolor, yeah, there we go. I want to make the toilet seat a little gray. You know, I could get really gross with it if I wanted to. We're going to make the interior dark, like super dark. Really set it out and apart. Actually, you know what? I don't want to do that on the same layer. Let me do it on the layer below. Keep it really simple. That way I can erase it and just keep what I want. Layers are awesome. Yeah, you got to be careful when you're working with this tool because you go over the same stroke too many times and it starts to mess it up like that. So and I am going to come back and put more white on this highlight around the sign. It looks good now, but it I don't know. It could do more. I messed something up. There we go. I realized that I put the highlight layer, I merged it, and I lost all the highlights. So, oops. Glad I caught it when I did. It was these 2 layers I wanted to flatten and then gel. There we go. Glad I caught it, guys. That would have been heartbreaking. Now, do that again. Big oops. All right, let's do that again. Much better. Oh, jeez. Okay, well those shortcuts aren't the same as they are in other programs. That sucks. The little special deal I did with my button on my pen isn't the same in this program. It doesn't switch colors. It switches between analogous and it switches to my last color used or some weirdo thing. Okay. And then if I want to indicate detail in there without, like, let me go super dark with that. I want to show that there's detail and there's stuff in there, but I don't want to go into too much about what it is. I want you to see that there's just like objects in there maybe or something. There we go. Yeah, it kind of indicates that there's something there without having to worry about explaining it. All right. Gives me a chance to repaint this toilet seat too, because the color that I picked wasn't the best. I wanted something that was there that I could put a little bit of shadow on and because it's rounded, you know. The other thing too is if a toilet seat's that big and I had this building so close up, how big would that toilet have to be? Like, you know, there is a little bit of logic that I have to follow. So, all right. There we go. Ah, there it is. Okay. Like I said, I'm just kind of playing with it till I get it. I play with the shadow, I play with the light, I play with the squiggles until I get it the way I want it. Excellent. I'm not going to worry about these signs and like bumper stickers and stuff yet. I'm just trying to get it the way I want it. All right. And one thing I do want to do, I said I want to do, is kind of make a very, very bright yellow door. I like the idea of making the door bright and then I can stain it up. Yeah. All right. Got about 5 minutes left. I'll try and get a few more things done. But this is a really good start. I could spend at least 4 more hours on this easily, and I don't want to do that to your time. I want to be very respectful of your time and your time here with me. Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's exactly what I wanted. Kind of this obnoxious bright yellow door, like the kids hate it. You know, it's... We live in the cabin with a yellow door, man. It's ugly, it's hideous. We don't like it. Okay, and then I'll gray out the screen because it's a screen. Maybe give it a little bit of a... There we go. And change this bit up here. Yep. Actually, I really need to make that more contrasty. It's too close to the... There we go. I need it to stand out a little bit. Indicate a little bit of a frame around it, maybe. Some of the lines afforded me the way to do that. The other thing to remember about the colors here is it's blending the top and the bottom color together. That's the other thing I forgot. So that's there we go. Okay. All right. It's giving you a white and a white and then that color, and I don't want to necessarily do that. I don't know what the heck is going on. Oh, don't tell me. Yeah, I did it. It's the wrong layer again. Doggone it. I painted on a non-gel layer. Screwed myself up. All right, let's fix this. I can fix it. This is troubleshooting. This is what you do. You know, it's just what you do. I'd messed up. I don't even know how I did that, but okay, we'll find out. Let's do this. There it is. Okay. Whew, scared me. Man, I was painting with the wrong color in the wrong space. All right. I will fix this before I go tonight. I'm going to pledge myself to do that. There we go. Okay. That's better. Other thing I noticed that I'm doing is I'm leaving the rough. There we go. Okay. Like I said, thank you for bearing with me. It's new program, or not new program, old program, new tools in the program that I'm getting used to. Yeah, sometimes I just, you know, get myself into situations where I've lost, like I forgot what section I'm controlling. Yeah, you like that? Yeah, it's popping now. I need to do a little bit of shadow underneath it too. I haven't forgotten about that. But Yeah. Gotta respect. I do want to respect the edges here a little bit more than I have been on the other parts. Like I said, I want it to be a loose illustration. You know, I want this dorm cabin, whatever, to have. I want it to have character as well. So yeah, let's add a little bit of shadow underneath here. Make it pop even more, because it's, even though the there it is. And I'll take away some of those highlight lines. They're getting in the way now. Yeah, that's supposed to be an eraser, bubs. There we go. Yeah, now it really pops. Yeah, it does. You know, when you get yourself into a mistake, you kind of learn new stuff when you have to find your way out of it, to be honest. I'm okay with it. I really am. All right. Go back up here. I mean, like I said, I used to use this program 90% of the time. If you go to my website, and there's 3 Viking paintings on the front page, on the splash page, the welcome page. The one that's on the far right with the Viking that's on the boat was painted all in this program. The other ones were painted in Clip Studio. And you really can't see the difference, but I didn't have Clip. Clip didn't exist at the time. It was Manga Studio EX1 or something like that, or Manga Studio 1, and it was not nearly what it is now. But all right, I need to really pop something. I just wanted to throw in some scribbles to show is the edges that are towards the light. Right here. There we go. Okay. I realized I probably need to fix the line that's right here just a little. Come on, guys. Bear with. Why do I have to keep... Yeah, there's a little bit of a line issue there. I'll fix that in Clip, because I can just save this as a PSD file and come back to it. So, okay, we are at an hour and 30 minutes. I'm going to leave it here. I think this was an excellent start. It's fun. It's cartoony. It's got character to it. Let me do one thing real quick. I can't leave all enough alone. I can't do it. Wrong layer again. Jeez. Come on, man. Get it together. Alright. I'm going to have to erase this out. Won't keep the eraser tool set for that. It's killing me. Absolutely killing me. There we go. Okay. I knew I could fix that. So, okay. Get that kind of a dirty yellow. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. All right, let me get a little bit of highlight going on. Again, switching back and forth. It's really okay. Unbelievable. I'm going to go down here and let me get a color picker going on, and I'll pick a color from over here. Even though it's that side and showing light, it's still going to stand out better if I do it this way. Let me digital watercolor. Okay, almost done, guys. What is the deal? Ah, you jerk. Okay. There we go. Do it that way instead. Fine. There we go. Yeah, some of the tools in here, don't behave the way I want them to sometimes, and I've got to play. There, just to indicate that it's there. And I will do one more thing. What is the... Oh. Okay. I don't understand what the problem is. I don't know why it's not picking the color. That is just odd. Okay, I will eyeball it. There's just a lot to learn about this. Relearn about this program. They changed so much, and I'm trying to... There we go. That's better. I just wanted to get some of the... a little bit of the edge. Wonderful. Okay. So I'll do one more thing real quick, and I'll throw some color down on the signs just to have color there. These are just going to be random, you know, whatever colors. Sometimes I like to work and not worry about... Oops, too close, too close, too close. Nope. Not worry about if the colors work or not, because I'll work them out later. I just want to throw something down. Give a little bit of a green pop right there. A little bit, maybe a little dirtier than that. Needs something. There we go. Okay. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Okay, that's a good place to stop tonight. So, yeah, here we have Cabin 13. Little bit of edited drawing on it. Definitely kind of the color where I wanted to go. Definitely the loose color that I wanted for the background, because I really wanted this to be the background. Not just the concept of the background, but I want a loose background for these characters to run out in. That would be really fun. So, thank you guys for joining me. It's going to be another one of these next week. Whether or not I get it done or not, I might switch to another character just to kind of take a break and then come back to it. So next week will be part 3. The biggest building is done. I'm going to apply the same technique, and I may throw down some color before then just to make it go a little faster next time. So hope you guys have a good week. Thank you so much for joining me. If you can, give the video a like, subscribe, share the link on your Facebook page and social media with friends, because the more people I can get to watch, the better. I appreciate you guys being here so much, and hopefully we can get this thing to grow, and there will be a body of work dedicated to Camp Zombie. Oh, one other announcement. I will be starting to post pre-made videos for my other series on this YouTube channel, for my Macabre McMorbiglies, and also my my Monty series. So look for those. They'll be coming soon. I'm going to be doing a McMorbidly one tomorrow, probably posting it beginning to middle of next week. So thank you so much. Thank you. It was my pleasure. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. God bless you guys. Peace out. Stay strong this week. Be kind to the people around you. Okay? Have a good one, guys. I'll catch you next week, Thursday, 8 p.m.